Okay, so my Nintendo Switch has Android on it, as you know, because I had a video posted a few days ago of it, and that's not what I wanted it to do. And I just want to show you some of the emulation that it can do. Here is the Dolphin emulator 5.0 MMJ. It's the best one to use. Let's just mess with the settings here before I start. Let's see, adjust scale. I will just turn the opacity all the way down. There we are. And now, because I'm using the wireless Joy-Cons, I just want to show you how well it can emulate Gamecube games. Right. It's pretty awesome. I'm holding it like this so that you can actually see what the hell's going on. Yeah, let's hit start. And as you can see, look at how smooth this is running. I mean, mind you, still not perfect emulation. There's still a couple of hiccups every once in a while. But it's not bad. This is the best I've ever had a GameCube emulated on any hardware that I own. I did own this game for the GameCube, but the game got stolen from me, and now they're going... This game in particular is going for like $50 on Amazon and on eBay. If I wanted to play Metroid Prime, which I still have a physical copy of, I actually ended up... That game got stolen from me too, but I remember some years ago getting it for $1 at GameStop. That game is going for like $100 on Amazon and on, other places. See, there's a little hiccups there. Sometimes. It doesn't always play super smooth, but it's still running a lot smoother than what my PC can run it at. My PC isn't a high-end gaming machine, but it's, it's a 2014 desktop with laptop components. But, yeah. Problem, of course, with playing emulators is it works well with Twilight Princess, but on the other Dolphin emulator, and I suspect it would do the same on this, is if you try to play Metroid Prime, it's going to not work very well. Like, it'll play like 4 or 5 times slower than normal speed. It just completely unplayable speeds. And if you try to play Rogue Squadron 2, it won't even boot. It won't even boot up. So that's the Dolphin emulator on the Nintendo Switch. Another emulator is the N64 emulator, and this took me by surprise. There aren't a lot of... my computer cannot emulate this game on the 64. But Rogue Squadron on the 64 can be emulated. And emulated quite well, might I add. On the Switch. At least via Android. For some reason, the Switch 64 emulators that are for RetroArch, for the Atmosphere firmware, they don't work very well. Dreamcast. I'll continue in light mode. it can actually, this is Sonic Adventures, or Sonic Adventure 1, for the Dreamcast, that is. And, as it loads up real quick.
Select a memory card. Select a file. Select a character. Let's get him!
I forget how cringy the 3D Sonic games are. Skip through all that. But as you can see, it works pretty well. Of course, it is a Dreamcast version of the game and not the Gamecube version. I forgot how automatic this game was, but there you pretty much saw that game being played. Let's see if I can... There we go, exit out by hitting the home button on the Switch controller. There we go. And then the PSP emulator. I can't find any decent PS2 emulators. Maybe they do exist, but I don't know. PSP emulator seems to work well enough, though. Go on to download. And Liberty City Stories. Because if you're getting a PSP emulator, you gotta have Liberty City Stories. Gotta have a Grand Theft Auto game, man. And it doesn't emulate perfectly. There's a couple of skips every once in a while. I mean, it's weird that the GameCube can be emulated on this pretty well, but not the PSP. But it emulates well enough that it's playable. It's not too horrible, you know. I always forget the banter that goes into these games. It's pretty fun. I'm trying to play this with one hand, so I'm not the greatest at playing it right now. And this is being at twice the PSP resolution, too. So, if I can actually drive. Oh, get out of my way! There we go. Now we get some speed going. Oh. Well, that's pretty cool. And then let's just try Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The mobile version, that is. This isn't emulated. This is literally just the mobile version. Now the problem is that everything is sort of in reverse. X is to jump, where normally this button would be to enter a car, and so, you know, like, everything is like tilted on its side. At this Y button here is what you would use to enter a car, but in this version, but in normal versions of the game, it would be this button. So everything is slightly turned on its side, and there's other issues too. Oops. Let's see. Get out of the way! Yeah, as you can see, there's no way to, sometimes it'll do this. It'll actually be locked in reverse mode until you hit one of the L and R buttons on the Joy-Con, on the sides of it, that is, or both. And at that point, you can only play it with one controller, and that's with the Joy-Con. and there aren't enough buttons to play it like this, to play the game properly like this, which is a problem. So there's still some issues with that, I think. Let's just try to. I'm just gonna exit out. But yeah, that's some game tests of what the Switch is actually capable of. I don't think I showed you Real Racing. No, I haven't showed you Real Racing, but I've showed you Ridge Racer in the last video. The video quality wasn't great because the rendering went through Windows Movie Maker, and that kind of made it look like it had a lower frame rate than what it really did. But overall, you can clearly see what the Switch is capable of. It can emulate some GameCube games, PSP games, Dreamcast games, even emulate the best that the 64 has to offer with Rogue Squadron. So yeah, I can clearly say that spending $250 on a used Switch was probably the best decision I made, because I could hack it with like a $20 little kit and like a $10 micro SD card, and boom, there's Android and everything on there. And I still play actual Nintendo games on here as well. Don't get me wrong, those are great, but sometimes I want to play other things, and well, I have this for that now. It's great. It's like a Swiss Army knife of a device here, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. I've definitely gotten my value out of this thing. I understand why Nintendo doesn't like it when people do this shit to their systems. They don't want piracy. They don't want you playing unlicensed games on it, because that means you won't be playing Nintendo games, in their mind at least. And as a result of that, they'll lose money because they make money from licensing and stuff. But hey, I own the hardware, so I can do whatever the hell I want with it. Only thing I can't do is, redistribute their intellectual property. That's the only thing I'm not allowed to do with it. Everything else is fair game. Peace.